coming. And today, uh, we from group one. We can presentation the material about overview of intercultural communication. And the member group is Ahmad Ajo, Fadia Fika Munida, Lia Rodotul Jannah, Sultan Ahmad Ryan. And I would like to extend my invitation to the first speaker. Please.
Okay, thank you for letting me to present my part. Okay, so for the slide 1 is introduction. I will explain the first part, which is an overview of intercultural communication. In simple terms, intercultural communication happens when people from different cultural backgrounds communicate with each other. Communication is not only about the words we say, but it is also influenced by culture, identity, and then the context. For example, in our class, we do have students from different backgrounds, including Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines. Even though we are all students, our ways to communicate may still be different because of our different cultures. So sometimes the same message can be interpreted in different ways. So before we continue, I want to ask a quick question to all the participations. Have you ever experienced a misunderstanding when talking to someone from another culture or country, maybe online or in class? Guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that situation is actually an example of intercultural communication. So you do the intercultural communication. And then for the slide 2, please. And then intercultural communication can be complex because many factors influence how a message is understood. When people from different cultures communicate, questions may arise such as like what is being said, who is saying it, why is it said that way, how is it interpreted. So for example, uh, in Japan, people often communicate in a more indirect way to maintain harmony. Meanwhile, in some Western cultures like the United States, people prefer to express their opinions more directly. Because of these differences, the same message may be understood differently by different people. And then slide 3, please. So, defining intercultural communication. There are many definitions of intercultural communication. According to Larry A. Samovar and Richard E. Porter, 2004, intercultural communication is the interaction between people whose cultural perceptions and symbol systems are different enough to influence communication. So, in other hand, people from different cultures may interpret the same message differently. So, for example, eye contact can have different meanings. Maybe in many Western cultures, eye contact shows confidence and honesty. But in our country or ASEAN cultures, especially when speaking to elders, too much eye contact might be considered less polite. And then please slide 4. Okay, so why misunderstanding happen? Misunderstandings often happen in intercultural communication. This can happen when people do not recognize individual uniqueness, ignore different belief systems, judge from their own cultural perspective, and then misinterpret messages. For example, in countries maybe like in Germany or Switzerland, punctuality is very important. Arriving late may be considered disrespectful. However, in some cultures, including Indonesia, being a few minutes late to a social gathering may be more acceptable, but it's also not a good thing, right? But yeah, in Indonesia it's like a normal situation. So because of these different expectations, misunderstandings can easily happen. And then slide 5. Understanding communication. Communication itself is a dynamic process, which means it is always changing and influenced by many factors. When people communicate, they often try to interpret meaning by connecting information and experiences. This process is called inference. So, inference can help us understand each other, but sometimes it can also lead to wrong assumptions. For example, if someone replies very slowly to our message, we might think that they are ignoring us, right? But maybe they are like busy or still studying or in a different time zone, or maybe they can just like they only want to have a quality time, or maybe yeah, something like that. So interpretation in communication is not always simple. Next, please. Okay, so culture and human differences. People from different cultures can be both similar and different. These similarities and differences are influenced by things like beliefs, values, social norms, history, religion, education, family, and something like that. Culture is learned through communication processes such as language, education, media, stories, and traditions. This process is called enculturation, which means learning our own culture from the society we grow up in. So, for example, in many Asian cultures like Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines, children are often taught to respect elders and speak politely. In some Western cultures, children may be encouraged to express their opinion more openly. And then for the next slide, please. Connecting culture and communication. Culture is not fixed. It's like dynamic. It changes over time. For example, when people move to another country, they often adapt to the new culture while still keeping parts of their original culture. This process is called acculturation. So, for example, an Indonesian student studying in Australia might become more comfortable speaking openly in class while still maintaining Indonesian values like uh, just like politeness and respect. This shows how culture and communication are closely connected. Next, please. And then culture shapes perception. Culture also shapes how people see and understand the world, which is called a worldview. Because people have different worldviews, they may interpret the same situation in different ways. According to Larry A. Samovar and Richard E. Porter, 2004, culture strongly affects both perceptions and communication. That is why understanding other people's beliefs and values is very important for effective intercultural communication. Now I will pass the presentation to my friend Liara Dotojana. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatia Vika Monita, for the time. And then the relationship between context and communication. Communication never occurs in a void, but always within a specific context. Context refers to the situation or environment that influence how a message is conveyed and how it is understood by others. In intercultural communication, context is particularly important because the same message can have different meanings in different places and cultures. There are 5 types of context that influence communication: physical context, social context, psychological context, temporal context, and physiological context. Number 1, physical context. Physical context is the environment in which communication takes place, such as location, room temperature, lighting, distance between people, setting arrangement, and the use of technology. Research by Knapp and Hall 2006 shows that the physical environment can influence a person's communication behavior. For example, in learning environments where lighting, room temperature, furniture arrangement, interior decoration, room design, color, sound, distance, and class size can also influence students' communication behavior and their learning outcomes. And then number 2, social context. Social context relates to social relationship between individuals, such as interpersonal relationship, power, social status, cultural norms, and roles within society. The social environment greatly influences the way a person communicates. For example, in the book, in many Western countries, it is common for people to openly criticize political leaders. However, in Thailand, showing disrespect to the royal family is a very serious offense. For example, in 2008, an Australian author named Harry Nicolaides was arrested for allegedly insulting the Thai royal family in a novel he wrote. This case shows that communication that is considered normal in one culture can be a serious problem in another culture. And then number 3, the psychological context relates to a person's mental and emotional state, such as feelings, emotion, stress, attitudes, previous experience, stereotypes, and prejudice. A person's psychological state can influence how they interpret the message they receive. For example, if someone is stressed or angry, they may interpret a message negatively, even though it was not intended to be negative. And then number 4, temporal context relates to time and timing in communication. Time can greatly affect how a message is received by others. For example, when someone wants to convey an idea to their manager, timing is very important. If the idea is presented when the manager is busy, it is likely to be rejected or ignored. However, if it is presented when the manager is relaxed, the idea is more likely to be accepted. And then number 5, the physiological context relates to a person's physical condition and health, such as illness, fatigue, disability, and mental health. A person's cultural background can influence how they view health and illness, both physically and spiritually. For example, a Tibetan citizen with a toothache may not go to a doctor, but instead go to a spiritual healer or shaman who is believed to be able to communicate with the spirit world to cure illness. From this explanation, it can be concluded that context plays a very important role in the communication process. Next, factors that affect intercultural communication. Number 1, the first factor is the human factor, namely human beings themselves. In intercultural communication, humans are the most influential factor because each person brings values, beliefs, and ways of thinking from their respective cultures. Due to different cultural backgrounds, two people may understand the same message in different ways. For example, in some cultures, people tend to speak directly, while in other cultures that highly value politeness, people may be more careful and less direct when expressing their opinions. This difference can lead to misunderstanding if not properly understood. And then number two, the second factor is mass media. Media such as television, radio, newspaper, music, and the internet play an important role in shaping how we look at other cultures. The information we receive from the media often influence how we look at other groups or countries. As a result, before we actually interact with people from those cultures, we may already have certain perceptions or assumptions about how we communicate with them. And then number three, intercultural contact. Which is how often people from different cultures interact with each other. In recent years, intercultural contact has increased significantly around the world. This is due to developments in transportation and information technology, which have made travel and communication with people from other countries faster and easier. In addition, migration has also increased for various reasons. Many people move to other countries due to ethnic conflict, environmental factors, or the desire for a better life. The more often people from different cultures interact, the greater the possibility of intercultural communication. And then another factor is language barriers. Even when two people speak the same language, misunderstanding can still occur. This can be caused by inappropriate word choice, difference in meaning, or incomplete understanding of the message being conveyed. In addition to word, communication is also influenced by nonverbal elements. Such as body language, gesture, and then gesture, one tone of voice, and even the way someone clothes. For example, our cultural clothes such as the niqab and burqa in the picture. The niqab covers the face except for the eyes, while the burqa or hijab covers the head and body. In some Western countries, the use of these clothes has become a controversial issue due to a difference in cultural and political views. This difference in views can affect how people from different cultures understand each other. Next, the next factor is assumption and misinterpretation, which is when someone makes assumption or misinterprets the intentions of other. Misunderstanding often occur when someone judges the action of others based on their own cultural perspective. For example, in the book, is the riots in Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, on March 14, 2008. Many Chinese citizens saw the riots as act of violence and violation of the law committed by rioters. However, some Western leaders and media outlets saw them as a form of resistance against oppression and pressured the Chinese government to stop the arrest and release the rioters. The difference in how the same event was seen shows how cultural and political backgrounds can influence perception and communication between cultures. Next, cultural factors are characteristic inherent in a cultural that influence the way people think, act, and communication. One of the most important characteristic of culture is that is constantly changing. However, there are some cultural that can generally be considered relatively constant, namely that culture. Number one, organized based on hierarchy of values. This means that in every culture there are values that are considered more important than others. Second, culture has unique patterns of behavior. People from a particular culture usually have habits or ways of behavior that are often recognizable. Third, culture is built on the beliefs and values embraced by its people. And finally, cultural elements are interrelated. So when one aspect of culture changes, other aspect of culture can also be affected. Fourth, culture is influenced by various factors such as political, social, economic, and historical factors. 5. Culture is dynamic, meaning that it can change over time, although core values are usually more difficult to change. And then 6. Number 6, culture is dynamic, meaning that it can change over time, although core values are usually more difficult to change. And then number 7, culture also uses some symbols to convey meaning and cultural practice. The symbol can be language, clothing, rituals, and or certain action that have special meaning for a community. And last, culture function as stabilizing mechanism for society, as it helps maintain order and balance in social life. Culture is something that humans learn. In books, culture is referred to as social inheritance. Sharon, this means that culture is passed down from one generation to the next in various ways, such as schools, media, stories. In this process of enculturation, humans learn by listening, observing, feeling, imitating, experimenting, and practicing the rules and norms that exist in that culture. And then, one of the most important culture are symbols. Language plays a major role in shaping the way humans think, affecting the behavior patterns and helping members of a culture understand the social reality around them. In addition, language can also be used as a political and ideological tool. For example, former U.S. President George Bush once used the terms rogue states and axis of evil to refer to several countries that were considered a threat to U.S. national security. According to linguist Noam Chomsky, the use of these terms can be seen as a form of political propaganda and also as a way to justify certain political policies. In addition to language, cultural symbols can also appear in non-verbal forms, such as artifacts, buildings, handicrafts, carvings, manners, body movement, colors, and numbers. Each culture uses different symbols to express its idea or meaning. One example of culture symbols can be seen in the Maori culture of New Zealand, particularly in Queenstown carving. Each carving has a different symbolic meaning. For example, the fish hook symbolizes health, strength, determination, and a smooth journey through life. Another example of cultural symbolism can be seen in the Chinese belief in numbers. Some Chinese from the southern part of China have superstitious belief in numbers. They dislike the number 4 because its sound is close to type. However, they have a passion for the number 8. Its sound is close to Cantonese fa, which means health, which means wealth, prosperity, and good luck. And then next presentation.
Okay, we move to the next part of this presentation. We will talk about surface culture and deep culture. So, at first, I will explain about surface culture. Surface culture is what people think about the culture. They usually think about things that are easy to see. For example, traditional food, clothing, music, language, festivals, or the way people greet each other. These things are called surface culture. So, it is the visible part of culture that we can easily notice when we meet people from different culture backgrounds. But culture is not only about what we see. There are also hidden parts of culture that called deep culture. Deep culture includes values, beliefs, attitudes, and way of thinking that influence how people behave. For example, deep culture can affect how people show respect, how they talk to other people, or how they deal with problems. As we can see in the slide, that is a picture that I took from the book. In the book, this idea is explained using iceberg. So it is an example of surface culture and deep culture. An iceberg looks small from the top, but most of it is actually under the water. The culture is similar to that. The part we see, like food or clothing, is only the top. The bigger part, like values and belief, is hidden underneath. So, sometimes when we meet someone from another culture, we may think we understand their culture already, but actually we have only seen a very small part of it. Okay, next. Okay, the next is why this is important in communication. In cultural communication, in intercultural communication, many people only see surface culture. When people from different cultures meet, they usually not notice things like language, accent, clothing, or food. These things are easy to see, so they often become our first impression. But sometimes misunderstanding happens because people do not understand the deeper cultural values behind someone's behavior. For example, in Indonesia, people from different ethnic groups can have different communication styles. Many Japanese people usually speak in a softer and more indirect way because politeness and harmony are important in their culture. Meanwhile, many Batak people speak more directly and clearly. When these two styles meet, misunderstanding can happen. Someone from a Japanese background might think Batak people sound angry, while someone from Batak background might think Japanese people are too indirect. But actually, both communication styles come from different cultural values. These examples shows why understanding deep culture is important if we want to understand people from different cultures. Next. When people do not fully understand another culture, they sometimes try to simplify things. One common result of this is stereotypes. A stereotypes is a general belief about a group of people. The term was introduced by Walter Lippmann in 1922. He described stereotype as a picture in our heads. This means simple ideas or image that people have about certain groups. People often create a stereotype because the world is very complex. There are many cultures and social groups around the world, so sometimes people try to understand them quickly by making simple assumptions. These ideas can come from family, media, school, or social experience. For example, people might say things like, people from this culture are always like this, and this, and this, or people from that country behave like that, and that, and that. The problem is that stereotypes ignore individual differences. Not everyone in a group is the same. They are different. Okay, next. When stereotypes continue to grow stronger, they can influence not only how we think, but also how we feel about other groups. This is where the concept of prejudice and discrimination appear. First, prejudice. Prejudice is a negative attitude or feeling toward a group of people, while stereotypes are about what we think. Prejudice is more about how we feel emotionally toward a group. People can develop prejudice even if they have never interacted directly with the group. Sometimes it comes from repeated story, media narrative, or social influences. For example, if a certain group is often portrayed negatively in news or movies, people may slowly develop negative feelings toward the group even without personal experience. When these negative attitudes begin to influence behavior, it can lead to discrimination. Discrimination means treating people unfairly because of their identity. This identity can be related to race, ethnic, religion, culture, language, or gender. Unlike stereotypes or prejudice, discrimination has real effects in everyday life. For example, it can affect job opportunities, education access, or how people are treated in society. Because of this, prejudice and discrimination are considered serious challenges in intercultural communication. Next. So, if we look at these ideas together, we can see that they are a part of bigger process in how people understand cultural differences. We can see a kind of patterns that from this part of presentation. First, culture has both surface culture and deep culture. The surface is only what we see, while the deeper values are often hidden. If people only see the surface, they don't try understand the deeper values. Misunderstandings can easily happen. Because of misunderstandings, people may start forming stereotypes about the other group. Over time, stereotypes can influence emotion and turn into prejudice, which means negative attitudes toward certain groups. When these attitudes affect real behavior, it can lead to discrimination. It can sometimes grow into bigger social problems. That's why learning about culture more deeply is very important in intercultural communication. Next will be presented by Joe. Time is yours.
Next is ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism is a mindset that perceives or ethnic, ethnocentrism. It is a mindset that perceives, develops, beliefs, tradition, ethnic or cultural group as being superior to all others. According to Theo and Febraro argue that there exists scientific racism which seek certain human groups as inferior to Europeans and Americans. For to support the argument, we can see in historical which one Europeans and Americans they see human Africans or Aborigines is like monkey. Another we can see in Mr. Antatur novels, the trilogy Buru Island. He say the Europeans feel better than indigenous. Next slide. Next, perception. Perception is the process of acquiring, organizing, and interpreting any sensory information. According Stacks, Hill, and Hickson point out that communication brings us together and perception tend to separate us. For example, we can look here, the existence of streams in Islam or ideology or political. Next, intercultural communication and global communicating. So the slide 31 and 32 is one theme. So in Abdural's views, cultural flow include 5 dimensions: ethnoship, mediaship, technoship, financeship, and ideologyship. Next slide, Mbak. This dimension, migration, media, technology, finance, and ideology have combined to promote a new world in which we, as global citizens, share concept of global issues and expect to make joint effort to address issues. But we can look right now, and media is the handle media is who are superior. For example, in the war Iran between America and Israel, which one the handle media is who are superior in now is Americans. And maybe I can back ethnocentrism, the mindset from the definition ethnocentrism, I think ethnocentrism, astaghfirullahaladzim. I think ethnocentrism, racism is behind recent. I think ethnocentrism is reason behind racism? Okay, thanks. Next, the question and answer session. We invite you.
How many questions, sir?
Three.
Okay, for 3 people.
Okay. If you want to ask, raise your hand and tell your name and your student's ID.
Okay, so maybe there's no question from all of you. So we are from group 1 wants to ask you something.
Bentar, Mbak, bentar. Kayaknya saya lupa sesuatu. Bikin saya bisa ulang nggak sih?
Oke, dijelasin aja yang
Soalnya saya
belum.
lupa ini record.
Jelasin aja yang belum.
Ini apa namanya dari awal admission terus. Soalnya saya lupa ini record.
Kan udah tak record aku.
Oh gitu.
Iya,
Terima kasih.
sama-sama.
Kalau itu ditutup aja.
Loh, ini mau ngasih pertanyaan
Oh iya.
ke teman-teman. Oke, Adib. You want to ask
Okay.
questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for the insightful presentation. I would like to ask about deep culture by Mas Sultan Ahmad.
Okay.
Okay. About deep culture, ya. In your opinion, which part of deep culture is the most difficult to understand when we first meet someone? Is it their values or their way of thinking? Did you get it, Mas Sultan?
The most what?
Which part of deep culture is the most difficult to understand when we first meet someone?
Okay, thank you, Mas Adib.
Your ID
I'll
student
thinking about it.
Adib.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, your student number.
Okay. 034.
Okay, thank you. Maybe anyone else? Okay, Janice Manangki Sebastian. Go on, Janice.
Okay, so my question is like, if I'm nervous because of a past bad experience, is that temporal because it happened in the past, or psychological because it's a current feeling? So does the timing of a message matter more than the history?
Sorry, can you repeat it, please? And
Okay.
don't forget to mention your ID student, please.
Okay, my name is Jenny Sebastian, student ID number 127. So if I'm nervous because of a past bad experience, is that temporal because it happened in the past, or psychological because it's a current feeling? And does the timing of a message matter more than the history?
For the last part, sorry. Is that temporal because it happened in the past, and then what is it? Janice, can you hear me?
Oh yes, I will repeat.
Yes, please.
Okay. Like if I'm nervous because of a past bad experience, so is that temporal because it happened in the past, or psychological because it's a current feeling? And does the timing of a message matter more than the history?
So you're asking the timing and what is it? History.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe one more question? Or is it enough? Okay, Amanda. Go on, Amanda.
Okay, my name is Amanda Destiana Habibah. My student ID 67.
Okay, 67.
Why do some people continue to believe stereotypes even when evidence so they are wrong?
Can you please repeat it more slowly?
Why do some people
Yes.
continue to believe
Yes, stereotypes.
even when evidence
Evidence.
so they are wrong?
Show there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wait a minute. We still discuss it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Wait a minute.
Okay, I will answer about Mas Adip's question. Mas Adip, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, you asked about which deep culture that the most difficult to see or to understand or what? In when we meet when we meet someone. Yes, Mas Adip.
Yes.
Yes. So, it is my opinion. I think the most difficult part is of the culture is understanding people's value and beliefs. Why? Because they are not visible, and sometimes people also cannot easily explain them, and we got difficult to understand it. For example, in Indonesia, many people greet others by shaking hands and touching their chest. Many people do this because it is a tradition and sign of respect. But sometimes they just say it's our habit and cannot clearly explain the deeper meaning. So when we meet someone from a different culture, we may see the behavior, but understanding the real meaning behind it can take more time. Like that, Mas Adib. Is it easy to understand?
Thank you, Mas Sultan, for your answer.
Okay, thank you, Mas Adi, for your question.
Okay, next, I will answer the question by Janice. The question is if I nervous of bad experience in the temporal because it happened in the past or psychological timing and history. Yes, Mbak Janice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Feeling nervous because of a bad experience in the past is part of the psychological context because it affects a person's emotion and mental state during communication. And temporal context, on the other hand, refers to timing, such as when a message is delivered or how long a meeting lasts. Okay. For the difference, physiological context relates to a person's feelings, emotion, attitude, stress, and past experience that influence how they interpret message. And the other hand, temporal context relates to time and timing, such as when a message is delivered, how long a meeting lasts, or whether someone arrives on time. Yeah, Mbak Janice.
So does the timing of a message matter more than the history?
The timing?
Yeah. The timing of a message is matter more than the history.
Oh yeah. History as in the psychological context. Janice?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it?
Psychological context.
Iya, yang tadi udah, tapi
Uh,
yang itu, yang does the timing of a message matter more than the history?
temporal context.
Yeah.
Yeah. So timing for the message is matter.
Yeah. This, yeah.
So timing for the message is matter. No. Timing.
Yeah, does the timing of a message matter? It is matter more than the history?
Yes. Matter timing.
Is it enough or you want more confirmation, Janice?
It's okay. It's enough.
Okay, thank you for your questions.
Welcome.
Okay, thanks. I will answer Mbak Amanda. Why do some people continue to believe stereotypes even when evidence show they are wrong? I think it could be because of hatred, and one of them is ethnocentrism, and maybe also because of personal intolerance. Can you understand?
Yeah.
Manda?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Or maybe can I add the answer, Manda? Or is it enough?
Yes, enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, Pak Moderator, please close this presentation.
Okay, thanks everyone for joining today. I'm moderator. We'll close presentation today, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Conclusionnya belum.
On cam to.
Okay, please everyone turn your camera on for the present.
said